Hi everyone, welcome to the Success Without Sacrifice show. And today we're going to talk about what should success feel like so you can start experiencing that right now today. Stay tuned. All right, we are back. On today's show, we are going to be talking about what success feels like and how you can start feeling that way right now today so you can have an amazing year ahead in your successful career. I'm here with Jadine Cleary. She's our Director of Performance Coaching. Jadine, welcome. I'm excited about today's topic. I'm curious, as someone who has worked with athletes, at the Olympics and in world championships, is knowing what success feels like common in sport?
It's a really good question because it depends on the person. But the people who are really succeeding at the top, they definitely know what success feels like. And they know what success feels like because they've been cultivating it the whole time along in their journey. They're very good at recognizing success as they go, and they imprint that neurological pathway so that they know what to repeat. So to your point, being able to know what it is, it's huge because it sets us up on the correct pathway.
Well, that's interesting that it's not like I would have thought it would have been more common. All right, so then let's talk about it more in the business realm, because I don't know about you all who are listening to the show today, but I thought success was a destination. And what I mean by that is I did all the, let's just say, quote unquote, right things growing up. I went in school, I was always like a very good student. When I went to college, I graduated with honors. I was always doing the extra, the above and beyond, because my belief, which was given to all of us through conditioning, our culture, education, family that you grew up in, just our culture in general, was that I was going to work really hard. And I was going to have to pay these prices pay the price along the way, if you will. And then I would get to this place called success. And it was going to be a destination, right? And you're going to sit around in this destination and you're going to relax. And things aren't going to be as hard. And life is going to be easy. And maybe, just maybe, there are going to be other people who are now coming behind you who are going to be working hard and they're building their pathway towards success. And they're doing more of the heavy lifting for you. And I don't know how many of you out there can relate to that. But for myself, I was, I just hustled so hard to get to this place called success. And I didn't even know what it looked like, but I knew that it probably had, I was in business. It was like, there's got to be some title, I guess, an executive title that seems like, oh, you're an executive, you're going to have, people reporting to you, a team, the work is distributed among more people. That's got to be a little bit easier. So for me, I thought it was going to have to be like maybe an executive level title, certainly a certain level of income. And I think we can all agree most people listening to the show have what we would call a successful level of income. You have enough income to pay the bills and there's some left over and you're not wondering, how you're going to pay the bills every month. And in fact, you're probably doing some pretty cool things with, your salary at this point. So I'd reached that point with my salary. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not, having to really make a lot of budgetary decisions at this point. Salary is cool. But life never felt successful. It was like it never got easier. And so the very first thing that we want to help everyone understand in today's show is that success is not a destination. It's not going to be this place you arrive to. It's not going to be like you hustle and hustle and hustle. Oh my gosh, and then I got to the weekend and all of a sudden this is going to feel like success. Or you hustle and hustle and hustle and it's like, oh, well, as soon as my team, they get to a certain point where they've all been here and they've got experience, then that's going to be success. And but then they do and you still don't get a break, right? Or it's after the merger acquisition or after I change companies or after I'm 3 years into my role. We tend to create these artificial goalposts of what success should be. And as soon as this next, AKA, I'm going to call it hard thing happens, then I can relax and enjoy it. And that just doesn't exist. And so you have to understand that success is not a destination. but I'm not going to say something really like trite, like it's the journey. I mean, that's true, but we're going to talk about today what that looks like. Jaden, did you want to pop in and share anything?
Well, I think to your point, it's so important to, in order for us, even let's say to your point, Kate, we were going to hold our breath like society teaches us to, and then enjoy it at the end and at the top. We won't even know how to do that unless we've been learning to enjoy success all along the way. So even if we want it to be sweeter, how can we prepare ourselves for it to be so that we can feel and experience the exhilaration? And that is through being able to do it along the pathway. And so to your earlier points, even about athletes, top athletes are very good at knowing when they've done something well. And it's not, to your point, about being trite or being superficial or fluffy. It's about, if we're going to be intelligent about how do we achieve success and what does it feel like when we do it, we need to know what it feels like when we've done it well, so that we know what to repeat.
Yes. Yes. I love that. And you said something, oh, it just went right out of my head. You said this word, like this exquisite life, or it was, I was like, yes, that's what we're looking for. I love that word, exquisite, extraordinary. That's what it should feel like. So let's just kind of knock these out real quick. So here's what success should feel like. First of all, success should feel like you have challenges. And I know everybody's out there listening going, but Kate, I don't want the challenges anymore. Great. You don't have to have the challenges, but then you're not going to have a big career and you're not going to have a big life. Okay. So the challenges do not go away. So if like what I was doing, no wonder I burned out, right? I was just like, I was running to get to this place where challenges didn't exist. Now, I'm not saying that we don't want to solve problems. I'm not saying that we don't want things to get easier, but it is who you become that makes success enjoyable, and that those challenges are just simply part of it. And I think that's a huge aha, because I know a lot of the clients we work with, again, whether they're in the C-suite or they're senior managers, or they're coming from running their own business, they're surprised when I say that. I'm like, it doesn't, there's no place on earth where challenges don't exist. It's how you move through them and what happens to you when that challenge arises. So for example, if a challenge arises 5 minutes before you are going to walk out the door to go, I don't know, have a gorgeous dinner with your partner, and a challenge hits you upside the head, it's how you respond to that. And there's a couple of things you could do. One is you could say, thank you, challenge. I see you right there, and I will be back in touch in a few hours after dinner. Or it could be, I'll be back in touch tomorrow morning, challenge. Or, hey, let me call someone else who can manage this challenge in the interim. I have something to do. Hey, honey, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. Something popped up, but I'll be there in just a second. Can you go ahead and get the salads ordered or whatever, right? And so all of that is you just saying, not, oh, I was just going to go to dinner with my partner and now this challenge has come up. It's like, that's what happens. Challenges happen all day long. And that brings me to the second point that I want to bring out, which is every day your calendar will look different than what you planned. And I think one of the ways as women, we try to manage success and hold on to some semblance of control is that we're trying to not have any challenges and then have this rigid calendar. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. That is time for me to do my thinking. Wait, it's 1 o'clock. That's time for me to do my emails. I'm all for managing your calendar that way. Like I have blocks of time and all those things, and you do want to protect your time, but living a big life and living into success means you can handle a dynamic schedule. So when something happens like the big challenge right before you're going to dinner with your partner, you simply just duck and weave a little bit. You're more agile. If the opposite of that, when we have the hard and fast boundaries around our calendar, that is going to create suffering for you, because there's no way at your level that that's going to make sense and be practical, or you're going to be able to achieve that. So you're beating yourself up for not having, like aligning yourself to your calendar. Welcome to life at the top. That's just the way it is. And then the second thing is that it creates such rigidity, is that others around us, that doesn't say I'm a successful woman. I'm just working through my life and I can be dynamic. It's no, I'm sorry. No, I can't do that. No, hard, fast boundaries. And women will default to that when we don't know how to manage ourselves dynamically. Then we go to these hard, fast boundaries, and then that starts damaging our reputation and the capital that we've created in our own brand.
Yeah, Kate, those are two very empowering perspectives because rigidity blocks flow. And when we block our flow, we actually block our ability to perform because we're trying to stick to a structure that's actually not in alignment or congruent with how high performance actually works. So it's interesting because I was just on a call with some of our top tier clients, and one of the women who we work with, she's the chief psychiatrist for the Children's Hospital, and she has the least number of beds in her jurisdiction in North America. And in speaking with her, she's been working with us now for 6 months. And she's like, you know what, Jadine? She's like, I actually, through this next wave of COVID, I'm enjoying the challenges that we have. And she wasn't meaning she's enjoying Omicron. She said, it's actually amazing to be a part of the historical changes that are happening right now and to be on the leading edge of that. And this is that woman, Kate, who literally has things pop up at 11 o'clock at night. And she manages that as well as her family. And it's because of who she's decided she wants to be and how she defines success and what she wants success to feel like, that she's able to flow. And because she's able to flow without that rigidity, she also is able to actually access her thinking brain to help her work through solving some of these challenges, which is helping her to lead her hospital to help save children.
Oh my gosh, I love that example. And here's why. To all our listeners, we are advocates and teachers and trainers of human behavior, because when you understand human behavior, now you can unlock all these things that people say, oh, you should make decisions this way, or you should do this with your day, go do more yoga, go run, and all these things. And you're like, oh, I'm not getting the result I want. Well, if you don't understand human behavior, then you're not going to understand why you are or not getting the result. And so one of the things I always put into my trainings is something that I used to call tame your DNA. And what I really think we've evolved to now, having worked with over 1,000 women, is it's train your DNA. So understand that as a high achiever, as an ambitious woman, you love to solve problems. You love to get rid of all the failure points. Let's minimize the failure points. Like, that's how we are. That's just how we're designed. I'm always going to be that way. Like, our clients and I always joke, like, if I go to the beach, if I were to take a sabbatical and go to the beach, day one, I'd probably sit on the beach and get some sun. By day two, I'm looking around the beach going, I think I can improve the beach a little bit. And by day 3, 4, 5, like, now I'm like creating a master plan for developing the beach with condos or something. Like, that's just the way we're wired. So if you're wired that way, we don't want to fight against it, but we want to train it. And that's why you need to help your wiring understand success is not you working, seeing these challenges as things that you have to get rid of before you can ever relax and enjoy success. That's never going to happen, because you and me and everyone like us, we are wired in a way where we're going to hunt out problems. We enjoy that. When I got married, my husband was like, Kate, would you just relax? It's like we had to buy the house, and then we had to decorate the house, and then we had to redecorate the house, and then we had to do the garden. He was like, my God, can we live in a house? And I was like, oh, aren't you having fun, honey? And he's like, no, because he's not wired this way. So when we talk about success, not only do you have to accept that there's challenges and make sure that you understand that boundaries and your time needs to be dynamic, but the next piece is having consistent emotional states. And we're going to do some more broadcasts on this, because I'm not saying that you have to be devoid of emotion. That's what we're taught in corporate America. Emotion doesn't belong. And then as women, we have this wonderful double-edged sword, which says, women, if we show any emotion, oh my God, we're hysterical and we're being too much like women. And it's like, well, I am a woman. But it's really about, what I'm talking about is that festering piece. I'm talking about that imposter syndrome piece. I'm talking about the self-doubt piece. So when I talk about emotional consistency, I'm not saying you shouldn't get upset in the office or, whatever. Those things are going to happen. I am talking about what success should feel like is a lack of that festering, that self-doubt, that constant second guessing. That shouldn't be there. And that in itself, when we teach our clients that, they're like, oh my God, Kate, like you've just opened up hours of my life back to me. And I'm like, I know. Because rather than constantly second guessing ourselves, you're able to walk in the room, evaluate what's going on, make a decision quickly and clearly, own the decision, and not second guess it or worry if it was wrong or, did you do it exactly right? It's like, it just is what it is. It's a business decision and we're going to move forward. And now I'm going to go home and be a great mom to my kids or, hang out with my dog or whatever it is that you do. So success should feel like, so when I say emotionally consistent, what I'm talking about is that lack of festering, that lack of self-doubt. Does that make sense? And I think the other thing that so in order to get there, and this is the point, JD, and I think you were making with the client who I know who you were referencing, is what she's doing is she is taking a proactive approach to her success, right? And so rather than, okay, I'm going to work and work and work and work and work, and I'm going to arrive at this place of success, she's like, success is in me. It's who I am. And so how she is seeing this predicament and this challenge is something she's conditioned in herself. So proactively every day, it's how you are coming at these challenges. But that starts with you understanding your DNA and then saying, okay, I am going to proactively become the woman I need to be so that when, there's not enough beds in the hospital or whatever to take care of this, I'm going to see that opportunity or that challenge as an opportunity, and we can role model how to manage this. And she's seeing it in a whole new light versus like, oh, here's one more problem that's keeping me from enjoying my success. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah.
Hey, you explained it perfectly. And to that point, because she's conditioned what success looks like for her and who she needs to be, she's able to be a woman and a leader who leads from a place of possibility and not proving herself. So rather than her being blocked to being able to see solutions, she's able to look at a situation analytically and say, what about this? What about this? What about this? And she doesn't carry that emotional backpack, because when you're talking about that feeling of self-doubt and procrastination and imposter syndrome, that's a heavy emotional backpack that leads to internal distractions.
Absolutely.
And we hear so much about external distractions. So like, how do I manage my inbox? How do I manage certain things? And we can have strategies for that. But unless you learn how to manage your internal distractions, you will never have that sense of calm and peace to feel like you can actually navigate the bumps and stay above the line and actually enjoy leaning into some of those challenges because you actually want to figure out how to solve them.
Yeah. And I think, and hopefully what everyone's, getting out of today's broadcast and what you're hearing is that the strategies, like what we're telling you should feel, these are things that you are internally shifting in yourself. You will notice. I did not say success looks like, having a chef, having a housekeeper, having an EA who manages your calendar for you, having a team that perfectly operates and excels on all, cylinders at all times. All of those things are external to you. Right? And so if you're going to put your happiness and your well-being and your enjoyment of success in those external factors, then you will always be miserable, or you will always come back to this sort of what I call like a roller coaster of like, oh, I'm enjoying my life. Okay, now I'm not enjoying my life. Oh, I'm enjoying my life. And now I'm enjoying my life. So what's happening is our society or our culture has taught us to put to put happiness into these external things that are supposed to make you happy. And they don't. It's like going out and buying a new car, right? Like how many of us have bought a new car and the day you buy it, I mean, oh my gosh, like they smell good. They just feel good. You feel like you're driving a machine instead of something that's got like soft brakes and squeaks or clunky or whatever it is, right? And we get the new car and think about how long that new car feeling lasts. A week, a month. If you really take care of it and detail it a lot, maybe 6 months, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't last. And so when we give the power of our well-being to external circumstances, guess what? We are constantly going to be chasing the elusive success that feels great instead of what I'm telling you is that when you condition yourself for success, it feels like flow. It's so much easier than we're making it out to be, ladies. Like we are working 10 times harder than we need to be. And I think the last thing that success should feel like for those of you who do have, teams, if you're driving a team, then it should feel like your team is aligned It doesn't mean everyone on your team is an A player at all times in everything they do. They're reading your mind and they always bring you back a result that just like blows you away. It just means that you feel like there's team alignment. It feels like your team is headed in the right direction. It feels like everyone is surrounded or towards, you're working towards a common goal, and leadership doesn't feel tough. And I know for me, even though I had been to various leadership, a lot of really cool actually leadership, I didn't understand how to be a leader who enjoyed leadership, where it was more effortless, until I started changing me. Right? So as long as I'm going home at night festering, as long as I'm worried about who walks in the room, as long as I'm worried about the result, as long as I fear failure, all of these things that are very common among high achieving women, if those things continue to reside in you, it leaks out in your leadership, because even though you're putting a smile on your face and even though you're saying, good job, team, inside you're going, okay, these people are idiots. Why are they not bringing me what I want? Which is, of course, sorry to say that out loud, but that's what we feel a lot of times as high achievers. It's like, well, wait, I've never had to have someone tell me what to do. I've never needed micromanaging. I've always figured it out. Why can't my people? And that comes from, really upgrading who you are in terms of what success looks like and in terms of your leadership. But it's not an external leadership piece, it's an internal leadership piece. And this is really sort of your this is your bailiwick, Jadine. So I'd love to know what your input on this.
I'm salivating as you're talking. And and one of the mentors, and Debbie Muir, I'll just call her out by name. So she's a double gold medal Olympic coach, and she was my mentor when I was in the sporting world. And I'll remember the first team that I ever coached who had an opportunity to win a gold medal. And I had my meeting with Debbie, and I was going through with her, here's the plan I have for my team. Here's how we're going to fix all their weaknesses. Here's who needs to level up where, so that we can actually achieve our focus and our dream. And Debbie looked at my plan and she said, Jadine, where are you on this plan? And she said, do you believe you are the coach to coach this team to a gold medal performance, even though you've never done it before? And I was like, that's how my meetings went with Debbie. I was like, oh my God, she'd put a stake in my heart. But it was exactly what I needed to hear, because I was so focused, to your point, Kate, on everybody else and what do they need to do and what are their weaknesses. I hadn't thought about, how do I condition myself and how do I make sure I'm seeing everything with clear eyes and a clear heart, so I'm leading the way that I need to lead. So you're right. If we don't focus on us first, we miss everything. But sometimes we don't focus on us too because it's scary and we don't know what to do.
Yeah, we don't know what to do. And I know in my case for a long time, I thought I was pretty much the shiz. I liked myself. Like, confidence has never been a problem for me. So I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, which is success felt good. And it felt like I was in control. And it felt like, that life was not easy. It's not easy, but more at ease. So what was happening, I know for me for a long time, which created my burnout eventually, was that success would feel really good, let's just say for a month or a week or a day or maybe 6 months. It was like, oh yeah, I got this dialed in, like, Kate, way to go. And then boom, something would happen in my personal life. Something would happen in my professional life. Team, your best person on your team leaves, or your child has something that was come up, and now you're gonna have to manage that on top of everything else. And it's like this very carefully crafted sort of house of cards would come crumbling down, because again, it was all like me not understanding my DNA. Kate, you're a high achiever. You're ambitious. You're high octane. If you want a high octane life, Kate, without the trade-offs, you are going to have to change, not all these external things that are going to have to change. And even simple things like failure, I don't think there's a person listening to this show today that's just like, oh, I don't have a problem with failure. I mean, I get that you're supposed to fail. I don't like it, but then when right, you're lying to yourself. We all are, right? Because when failure really happens, we freak. I mean, we are just like festering about it for days. We're telling everybody about it. We're having to process it. We're hiding from it. We're apologizing. Ladies, stop apologizing. All of those things, but that's part of our DNA. And so Instead of saying, well, wait a minute, if that's part of my DNA, I fear failure, I dislike failure, failure is not an option for me, then part of it is saying something like, well, what if failure is part of the formula towards this amazing life without trade-offs? What if just getting comfortable with failure, just getting comfortable with it? I'm not saying let's have more failures. I'm not saying go out and fail a lot. I'm just saying, what if you just got comfortable with failure? That's an example for all of our listeners out there of what it means to enjoy your success. It's like those things no longer just like send you reeling. It's just like, oh, okay, that was a failure. Doesn't feel good. Don't like it. Let's move forward. And we're not festering about it. We come up with an action plan. We address it and move forward. Like success, ladies, should feel like flow. It should just feel like flow. You flow into work in the morning, you flow into the gym in the afternoon, you flow into your family life in the evening, you flow back into work whenever you work again. Like it shouldn't feel like you're constantly, whatever heavy, like what is it, pushing the boulder uphill.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, Kate, people are listening to you going, oh my God, that's exactly what I want. How do I create that for myself? Because to your point, we've been taught that it's the opposite. And through our experience, it has been the opposite for us for a very long period of time. And when we can come from that place of our own self-worth being strong and full and whole, then we can embrace those failures as what they truly are, which is learning opportunities. And the more we lean into them, the more we keep getting those learning opportunities. So we become accustomed to what that feels like. And that's how we stretch and grow. And that's how we start to embrace that feeling of, okay, this isn't catastrophic, right? It has it going from so high and low to being more like the flow that you're talking about. And then we're able to achieve that sense of, flow that we're looking for.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, everyone, this has been a great show today, and I hope we have opened many of your eyes to what success should feel like. Again, it's not a destination. It is not rigid control over your calendar. It is not giving away your happiness to these external things that as soon as those magical things fall into place, you can start enjoying your success. Okay. Success is available to you today in training your DNA to recognize that challenges are a part of it. It's how you move through these challenges, being agile, being dynamic, and really understanding that, the way that we process as high achievers is not always conducive to the enjoyment of success. And what we're talking about now is just creating it. You've created it, and now it's time to enjoy it. All right, so if you are ready to start experiencing success with flow and ease and not let the challenges get in the way, we have something very special for you. Our team has set aside time to speak with you in the next 72 hours about how you can start applying all of these ideas to your career right now. It's a simple 45-minute conversation. It's absolutely free. And what we do on the call is we're going to talk about your career, look at what's working, what's not, and how you can start experiencing success with ease. The call is confidential, and truly it's a rare opportunity to speak to an expert who's walked in your shoes, knows exactly how to solve for what you're dealing with. Most of the women we talk to are like, Kate, this is the best 45 minutes I've spent on myself in years. So go to goodlifeinstitute.org/call. That's goodlifeinstitute.org/call. And listen, if we are a good fit to work together, fabulous. We're going to share what that looks like and tell you all about it. And if not, that is okay too. So go to goodlifeinstitute.org/call, grab a time that works for you, and we are delighted to speak with you about how you can experience success with ease and start enjoying your success so you don't have to suffer for 1 second longer. All right, so that is it for today's show, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Hi, thanks for tuning into today's show. If you want to subscribe, you can do that by clicking the little picture of me over there. If you want to book a breakthrough call, which you absolutely should do, you can click the button below or go to goodlifeinstitute.org/call to book an appointment to speak to us. I'll see you on the next show.